everyone, happy Wednesday. This video you are going to use for today and tomorrow's assignments, and then for Friday's assessment you will use the video for Monday and from today to review before you take the assessment. As always, it is highly recommended that you are taking notes throughout these videos. That way you have something next to you when you are doing your assignments. I know, especially when you're taking it on Edulastic, it's not the easiest when you're watching the video and then have to open a new tab. If you have those notes next to you, then it makes it a little bit easier for you. Today we're really going to work on standard form and written form, changing standard to written and changing written into standard. At the end of the video I am going to go over all three and include expanded form in there as well, and show you how to change written to expanded and expanded to written. The next 3 days your work will be multiple choice or matching, so you will never need to actually type out or spell out words, but I did make you a chart with some words that we use most often in place value. I would highly recommend writing these down and maybe practicing them, because when you do have to take an assessment or work on an assignment that does have you write them down, it is best to know these words. So if you need to pause and take some notes, go for it, but the numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then I moved 10 up here because 10, 100, and 1,000 are what we normally see on your place value charts, going across the top of here, so I kind of grouped those together. And then additionally I also added 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90. That way you can have a better visual of what the words look like when you are looking for them on your assignments for the next few days. I am going to move the camera up, but if you still need these words, please just pause and finish writing them down, and then you can push play again. We are going to just review our place value chart really quickly. Again, 100,000s is the farthest left-hand or the left corner. Then 10,000, thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. Please remember that if you see this 4 in the 10,000 column, this 4 right here represents 40,000. So it doesn't just represent a 4, this is a placeholder for 40,000. As well as this 3 is because it's in the 100,000 column, this is a placeholder for 300,000. The 2 is for 200, the 5 is for 50, or 5 tens. You can figure that out by counting by tens as well. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then you're at 50. Okay, so we are going to go back and look at our other chart today. You may also take notes on this. Highly recommend it. Again, standard form is numbers written in standard form are only written using numbers. There will never ever be any words. So if one of your questions on the assignment or the assessment says, what form is this written in, and it gives you a number that looks like this, your answer is going to be standard form, because there are no words here and you also have not pulled it apart into expanded form. So standard form is simply just the number, nothing else. Word form or written form, which we're really going to focus on today, is only using words, no numbers at all. If you use the numbers, you're writing them out and spelling them out just like I have on this chart. Remember, on Monday I crossed out this one because we never use actual numbers, like the number 1, 7, or 85. We have to spell those words out. So 1,785. All of this is spelled out with letters. You don't see any numbers written in blue. And then again, expanded form is a way to write numbers by showing the value of each digit. So just like I was talking to you over here, that this 3 represents 300,000. So when you write out, if I had expanded form on my chart and I had to write out 300,000, I would have to write it like this in expanded form and then add whatever is in the 10,000s place, which would be the 4, that represents 40,000. So that's very important that you're remembering that each number represents a value and not just that single number, except when you're in the ones place. So today what we are going to do is I'm going to write some numbers to start in standard form, and then we are going to practice writing them in written form, and then we will do the exact opposite of that, where we take words that are already written out for us or numbers that are already written and change them back to standard form. And then at the end I will add expanded form so that we can see all 3 of them. So to start, what I am going to do is just write 917 on my board. So again, that's written in standard form. It's only numbers. It's not pulled apart. It's simply just the number. But then when I go to write it in written form, it is extremely important to say this number out loud to yourself multiple times, because you are going to write this the same exact way you say it. So this number is 917. So I'm going to write that out. Remember, I also have to spell my numbers. So 900, and then I would write 17. And then that's exactly how you would write it in written form. Again, I have to spell out all my numbers. I can't just write a 9 instead. So this is how we move from standard form to written form. Now I am going to write a different one on here. Pause me if you still need this, and then you can read or push play when you're ready. I'm going to write 7,016. Now, I have it in written form. I now need to put it into standard form. Again, written form is written exactly how you would say the number. So if I read this first part and it says 7,000, I know to put a 7 in my thousands place and then put a comma, because I know 3 numbers are going to come after this. Again, if I'm looking at my place value chart, you know that the thousands place is here. 3 more columns come after that, or again, 3 more numbers. So when I come back over here, 7,016. Now I didn't say anything about the hundreds place, so when the hundreds place is not brought up, you put a 0 as that placeholder, and then I would write 16. Just like that. Because 16 represents a 10 and a 6. The 10 would be in the tens column, and the 6 would be in the ones column. So that's how we go from written form to standard form. If you are, what I would suggest is, if you're taking it on Edge Elastic, when you're reading all of the options out to yourself, I would write them down. That way you're writing the number as you're hearing it. It would be helpful to do that. Now I'm going to put expanded form up here as well. So I'm going to make another column for expanded form. Okay, so I'm going to write a number in written form. I'm going to write, let's see. Okay. So this is something that you might see on your assessment or on your assignment, and you might just see written form, and it might ask you to write it in expanded form or choose the expanded form option, or it might ask you to write it in standard form. So we need to do both. I would suggest that you take it from written form and write it in standard form first, and then change it to expanded form. I think it would be a lot easier to visualize and to see. So we're going to start, it says 400,000. So I know that 400,000 looks like this, and it didn't say anything was in the 10,000 or in the regular thousands place, so I'm just going to write it as 400,000. Then it says 272. So again, as you hear it, you write that down. 272. So now you have your number in standard form, but the question is asking you to put it in expanded form. So now I am going to just use a different color, and I am going to show you how to break that apart. So again, it's very similar to what we did on Monday and Tuesday. So I am going to take the first number, which is in the hundred thousands place, and I am going to write that here. Now again, I don't have any numbers in the 10,000 or in the thousands place, so I leave that blank. I don't add a zero for it. I don't add 10,000 or 1,000. You leave it completely blank and you skip those numbers. But then I have a 2, so now I have 200. I'm just going to write it here. Plus, and then I have a 7 in my tens place, so that represents 70. And then I have a 2 in my ones place, so now I'm going to write the 2. Sorry. Now, to check your work again, you can write it the other way, and you can line it up to make sure that you are doing this correctly. I will move and get out of the way. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 2 is 2. 0 plus 0 plus 7 is 7. 0 plus 2 is 2. And then you bring down the 0, and then another 0, and then you bring down the 4. And then that number, again, should match back up to our standard form, which we did earlier, and then it also should match with our written form. So those are the 3 forms that you need to work on and practice. Again, today you are going to practice on changing standard form to written form and written form to standard form. You're going to do that as well on Thursday, and then Friday you are going to work on all 3 of these. If you have any questions, please let me know. I am more than happy to help you on any assignment or assessment. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.